What is going on, everybody? Super Yankee for life here once again, bringing you guys NFL week and my NFL week picks, week number 6. Um, so without further ado, let's just get right to it. Um, the Thursday night game, Pittsburgh at Tennessee. Um, Pittsburgh coming off a 16-13 win over Philly last week, and Tennessee's coming off a rather embarrassing showing at Minnesota last week. I like Pittsburgh to win this football game. Probably by double digits, I would say so, because I think offensively they will just I think with their wide receivers and their speed on the outside, I think Mike Wallace and Antonio Brown will have a collectively, not collectively, but individually, each will have a good game against the Titans secondary, and uh, defensively, I think they will contain Chris Johnson enough, and Tennessee will not be able to get anything going offensively. All right, so I like the Steelers with the football game, but 1 o'clock games, Dallas at Baltimore. Yes, I know I know um, I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but I would be shocked if Baltimore does not win this game by double digits. I mean, with the way the offense is going for Dallas, and coming off a bye, hopefully they are able to find an identity on offense to take them to Baltimore and for future weeks to come, whether it be Tony Romo throwing the ball 40 times a game or handing off to DeMarco Murray for 25 carries, 30 carries a game. Um, whatever their identity is, they need to stick to it. Unless it just completely sucks and you need to change it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Baltimore coming off a rather unimpressive offensive showing against Kansas City, but defensively they're about as good as it gets in the National Football League, in my personal opinion. I like Baltimore to win this game by double digits, and I would be shocked if they didn't win by double digits. Oakland at the Falcons. Falcons coming off impressive win. I wouldn't say impressive win, but they came off of a hard-fought win over Washington last week. Oakland, I think they came off a bye week, or no, they. I'm trying to remember what Oakland had. Either a bye week or they lost last week. I'm not really sure about that one, but as far as Atlanta is concerned, um, if you can find me another quarterback playing better than Matt Ryan right now, I would, other than maybe Matt Schaub, I would be happy to listen to you. But I mean, Matt Ryan is just playing unbelievable football right now. To me, he's probably the MVP, the early season MVP so far this year. Michael Turner running the football very well. You got Roddy White to throw to, Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones. I like Atlanta to win by a very fair, comfortable margin in this football game. St. Louis at Miami. St. Louis coming off a win last week over Arizona. Miami coming off a crap. I'm trying to think what they. I think they came off a loss. I think. Jesus. I can't remember. It's early in the morning. Crying out loud. Don't hate me. Anyway, as far as these two teams in this game is concerned, I think it's going to come down to Ryan Tannehill in this game. And Ryan Tannehill against Sam Bradford, two young quarterbacks. And I actually am going to go with Tannehill on this one. I'm going to go with Miami to beat St. Louis at home. So for the reason for the fact that I believe Ryan Tannehill, I think, is making improvements, strive improvements, to, I mean, to get better. And early in the year he was just getting rocked. make tons of rookie mistakes, which is going to happen. But I think having Reggie Bush, as a as someone to rely on is pretty good if I say so myself. But I like Miami to win this football game. Close game. I like Miami to win the football game. Indianapolis at the Jets. The Colts coming off a very emotional win last week over Green Bay, which is understandable. It was good to see them win a football game for their head coach, who was battling, I believe, leukemia at this point. Thoughts and prayers go to him, Chuck Pagano, head coach of the Colts. Battling leukemia. Thoughts and prayers are with him. It was good to see them win a football game for their head coaches like that. That was awesome to see. As for the Jets, coming off a closer loss than I think most people would expect to the Houston Texans last week. As far as this game is concerned, I like the Colts to win this football game. They go to, I think, 3-2, 4-2, I believe. If they would win this football game, then it would make things pretty interesting for the Colts, because the next 4 or 5 games very winnable, in my personal opinion. Of course, they're not catching Houston, in my personal opinion. They're not catching Houston in the AFC South, but they could contend for a wild card spot. So stay tuned on that. But I like the Colts to win this football game. Detroit at Philly. Defensively, Detroit, I think, will have a much better time with Michael Vick. Expect guys like Ndamukong Suh to have a pretty, I wouldn't say big game, but he'll have an impact, without question, on the outcome of the game. But I think Philly will edge out Detroit. And when I mean by edge them out, I believe they will win by maybe a field goal or maybe 2 points. But I think Philadelphia will give the ball to LaShawn McCoy a lot more. I think he'll get maybe 30 touches in this game. Not all by rushing, but some catching passes out of the backfield. But he is their best player, in my personal opinion. He is their best player. He is the all-purpose back that they need for this offense to go. Kansas City at Tampa Bay. Kansas City coming off a loss to Baltimore. Tampa Bay is coming off. See, I can't remember some of these teams like Tampa Bay and Oakland and Miami. I can't remember. Jesus. I'll look them up after this video is over. But anyway, Kansas City might be starting Brady Quinn this week, and as far as the whole situation with the fans booing Matt Castle, not booing, but cheering him after he got a concussion, that really just is not really warranted or called for at all. I mean, it's one thing to boo a guy. You can boo him if he's not playing well, which he hasn't. But it's another thing to cheer when he gets hurt, especially when it's a concussion. When it's a concussion, it gets a lot more serious than that. As far as Tampa Bay, another young team trying to get better. I like Tampa Bay in this game. The simple reason for the fact that I think it'll come down to quarterback play. And I think Freeman will have the edge there. So it'll be a close game, but I think Tampa Bay will edge out in the end. Buffalo at Arizona. Arizona coming off a rather embarrassing loss where they gave up like 9 sacks or something like that to the almost like the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Rams. Buffalo coming off a dismal performance in San Francisco, but that seems to happen when you play the 49ers nowadays. I think Arizona will bounce back and win this football game. Offensive line's got to get better. I mean, as bad as uh, Kevin Kolb was last week, um, offensive line did not help at all with the protection. But I think they'll get that corrected this week, and they will, even against Mario Williams in that front seven. I still think Arizona will bounce back with this football game. Seattle, no, New England at Seattle. New England's coming off a very impressive win over Denver at home. Seattle is, again, I swear, I should have just looked online before before I did this video. Jesus. As I was saying, Seattle, to me, is one of those teams that can contend for a wild card spot, but I just don't think, I don't trust Russell Wilson as much as I did before, and thus I don't think they can contend for a wild card. Granted, defensively they're about they're pretty good. Defensively they are pretty good. Less speed. Running game's pretty good with Marshawn Lynch. It's just going to come down to quarterback play and whether or not he can actually get the ball to guys like Golden Tate, Braylon Edwards, guys like that. But you're playing against New England. You're playing at home, which gives you a chance. But I believe the Patriots will edge this out in the end and get a victory. Water, good stuff. Anyway, rematch. NFC Championship game. Giants at the 49ers. I expect the Giants to... Actually, I'm actually going with the Giants to win this football game, much like last year. But simple reason for the fact that I believe Eli Manning is just playing on an elite level right now. They were down 14-0 to Cleveland last week, and they just stormed back with a vengeance. And without Hakeem Nicks, he's doing it with guys you never even heard of him. Besides Victor Cruz, I don't think Hakeem Nicks was in the game. Either he was or he left the game last week. He's been hurt. He hasn't been fully 100% all year long, but he's doing it, guys, with like Ben Pasco, tight ends. Some of the guys who I think were on the practice squad. I mean, he's at that point in his career where he's becoming guys like Peyton Manning, guys like Tom Brady, where he's making everybody else around him better than what they really are. Not to take credit, not to diss him or anything, but he's making them 10 times better as a football players. I like the Giants to win this football game, close game throughout. But I like the Giants to win by maybe like a field goal. I mean, San Francisco's pretty good football team themselves, but I just think Eli Manning is just on a high level, elite level right now. Minnesota at Washington. Minnesota coming off a win over Tennessee. Washington coming off a close loss to Atlanta. Question is, even if RG3 plays this game after suffering a concussion last week, even if he plays, how effective would he be? If I were Mike Shanahan, I would just bench him. I would just not even play him. If I were Mike Shanahan, I would not even play Robert Griffin III, at least for 1 week. But it looks like he may play, and it looks like he may start. But as for Minnesota, I believe Christian Ponder. I think it took him a year of abuse before the potential really shine through, and I think right now you're seeing him blossom into a pretty decent quarterback, if I say so myself. Not turning the ball over, limiting his mistakes. Of course, number 28, Adrian Peterson, doesn't hurt either. I like Minnesota to win this football game by, I'd say like a touchdown. I mean, it'll be a close game throughout, but I think Minnesota will go to 4-2? No, I think 4-2. I think 3-2, 4-2. I mean, right there for a wild card spot. Or maybe the division. I mean, who knows? With the way Green Bay and Chicago and Detroit are playing, I mean, it's anyone's division. Speaking of Green Bay, they're playing at Houston Sunday Night Football. Green Bay coming off a last second loss to the Colts. Houston coming off a victory last week against the Jets. Monday Night Football game against the Jets. I like Houston in this game, and I didn't think I would see the day that Green Bay would go to 2-4, but I think that's a possibility, and I think it's going to happen. But I think Houston. They did lose Brian Cushing. I mean, he tore his ACL, I believe, last Monday night, which is a huge blow because he's the heart of that defense, and they're going to miss him. But J.J. Watt, holy smokes, that if there is a player for defensive, candidate for defensive player of the year, he gets my vote right off the bat. But offensively, I think this will probably be a shootout in this game. I expect maybe in the margin like 34-31 Houston. Close game throughout, obviously, but I think Houston will win it in a shootout. And then the Monday Night Football game, Denver at San Diego. I think Denver coming off a loss to New England last week. I personally believe, in my personal opinion, I believe Manning. The thing that's killing the Broncos right now is turnovers. I mean, offensively they're pretty good. They run the ball. Manning spreading it to different receivers, guys like Decker and Demaryius Thomas and former teammate at Indianapolis, Brandon Stokely. Tight ends are getting involved. Running backs getting involved. Everything seems to be clicking, but turnovers seem to really kill this team. And defensively, I mean, the Patriots no-huddle offense last week just tore apart the Broncos defense, and I think they will correct that against San Diego, who, San Diego is one of those teams that, they're coming off a loss to New Orleans. Gave up, the first victory for New Orleans last week. I expect another letdown from San Diego, and I expect Denver to win, go into San Diego, and get a victory over the Chargers. Those are my picks. Disagree if you feel free, but those are my picks. Feel free to disagree if you want. I just said that twice. And by the way, the reason why I'm wearing these gloves is because it's super cold inside, so I just felt the need to warm up a bit. That's why I'm wearing the jacket, of course. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the picks. Until next time, Super Geeky for Life, signing off. Peace.